Hello, this is another video for M.E.R.C.S 2nd edition, and in this one we're going to talk about, if I just move the camera over a little bit so it can get me in the middle, my horrible face. This is a video about M.E.R.C.S 2nd edition, and this is about the different scenarios, or as it says in the book, game modes. So for this one, I'll just go over them a little bit and tell you maybe what I think could work best for each faction, perhaps. So I'll skip over conflict. That's just basically one side versus another side. Kill points, just basically kill the other side as quick as possible. Last Megacon standing, five side. The thing with this game is it has two by 3 board sides. I think they're all that. Okay, some are 3 by 3, but that's the general suggestion, and I feel like it's a suggestion because really this game scales well in terms of how big you want the playing area to be. Do you want it to be huge? Do you want it to be small? Obviously small works best if you're having 5 models aside, but you could have it as big as you want, really. I mean, this desk I've got, which I do all my building, gluing, painting and whatnot on, I think that's about a 3 by 4, I think. It's somewhere along that normal table size. So there you go. So coming on to the proper ones, we've got capture. So you can do 10 players for each game, I suppose. You know, one person controlling the model, but I don't know. But you've got that option. Right, so special setup: 2 assets, 2 victory zones, 2 respawn zones. Game length: either victory zone with opponent's asset or score 10 victory points. Rules: all respawn. 2 victory points in refresh phase that opponent's asset is controlled. Right, so what you need to do for this is you have one side being one player and other side being the other player. Now in one player's side you've got their spawn point at top, and which they respawn out of also as well, and they've also got their victory zone in the other place. I would have that 1 card length by 1 card length, so it's like a, or would it be 1 card length? I don't know, 2 card lengths wide, you know, like a giant square. 2 card lengths wide by 2 card lengths wide, that sort of thing. Don't know why that's burning. Anyway, just going off a tangent just because. And then, you know, where their line stops, you put the asset slap bang in the middle, and then same for the other player, except their spawn points at the bottom of their side and their victory point is at the top, and you have both the spawn and the victory points 2 card lengths wide, I suppose. It doesn't really say, but you have that option. So it doesn't really say any points for killing, so yeah, you just hold it. Mercs that carry the asset cannot attack or perform any action other than move. The Merc with the asset gains +1 MP but cannot bound. So you do have to get them in your victory zone. You have to be within base length range of the asset and have line of sight to pick it up. If the asset is killed, then the asset drops. If the asset is not in the victory zone, it's picked up in the same turn. Sorry, I read that wrong. If a asset is not in the victory zone, if a asset not in the victory zone, there really should have been a comma, is picked up by the same team, well, maybe not, the asset returns to the centre of the victory zone. Right, so it kind of like teleports to the middle again. Mercs cannot carry their own asset, well, teleport, so it's kind of obvious. They can only pick it up to return it to their own victory zone. Okay. Mercs cannot pass the asset to a teammate. Right, okay. Mercs that killed respawn, so they're placed at a respawn zone, yeah. So teams that would work well with this are fast. So we're talking Sadafu, we're talking Kenvar, mostly. Models with good armour might be a good one here, because the higher the armour is, the less chance your opponent's got to kill you. So USCR might not be a bad one. The Behemoth, yeah, armour 4. Well, 2 movement points might not seem like much, but at least you can move with the asset and get some degree of protection. You've just got to watch out for rear shots. Heavy also. I tell you what would be a good one. EU Inc. Heavy, because he's got movement 2, or the ISS Leader, because he's got movement 2 and 3 movement. So, because of their armour 3 and 2 movement, they can move 3 and get to where they need to go pretty effectively. I mean, 4 movement with someone that's movement 3 is good, but most of the case their armour's 1 or 0, so it's not really the best. But in the other hand, it's mostly the options you've got, unfortunately. So take it as you will. I'd say a fast moving faction would work the best with this, but that's just me. They're not really a defensive wise, although Kenvar, you keep them in cover at all times, I suppose. But that's just a normal thing. It's a kind of a game of chicken and the egg. Who's going to reach the asset first, and who's going to be able to bring it home first? If you get there first, your opponent's probably going to have 1 or 2 models ready to shoot you. There's just that option. So really you've got that case of you want 1 or 2 models that's there for defend, for shooting your opponent. You need at least 1 maybe for defending, and maybe you want 2 to go out for that asset. 1 to defend the other who's capturing the asset, 1 to, you know, defend him and shoot guys who are ready to take their asset back or take yours. Control is the 3rd game mode. Players are the same, 5 makes a side, 3 control locations, 2 respawn zones. Okay, so respawning again. Score 10 victory points or complete 8 rounds, so 8 turn game length. Victory points, control 1 location, 1 victory point, control 2 locations, 3 victory points, control 3 locations, 5 victory points. Right. To control a location, a merc must be within 1 base length range of a location marker. Victory points are awarded to the player with majority control of a marker. If both players have the same number of mercs at control marker, no victory points are awarded. Right. So it's just basic case of, it's like King of the Hill, but you've got 3 points. One side it's like sliced in the middle. I think they all are. Well, these first 3 are sliced in the middle. Once one player start location is there, the other one is down there. So one side, that one up there, other side, that one down there. So, and the control location, you've got one half in no man's land, one in one player's. You've got the second one flat bang in the middle, and the third one half in the other player, half in no man's land. So there you go. Oh, you don't get new I suppose you get new victory points if your opponent controls it, you kill them, and then you go back to controlling it. Yeah, it doesn't say you get more victory points each turn. It's just if you've got them, you got them victory points. Then again, no, I suppose you'd lose them if you haven't got them at the turn. Yeah, I reckon it is you've got them until your opponent takes them off you. If you've got them at the end of the game, you've got them. If your opponent's got them at the end of the game, they've got them. Because it doesn't say they can't be recaptured. So next one, deathmatch. So you've got 4 respawn points, 6 to 10 players. Each player fields 1 merc. So it's everyone for each themselves. First merc for 3 kills, which it might sound easy, but remember you've only got 1 model. It can respawn, but you've only got 1 model. Number of players equals starting areas, 4 labelled respawn points. Okay. How many turns? Oh, it's first to 3 kills. I suppose that won't be too difficult if you've got at least 4 players. I reckon there should be some sort of time limit on something, maybe 15 turns, something like that. So you've got 4 respawns on each corner, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay, respawn 2, respawn 3, respawn 4, respawn 5. Okay, set up the table using the standard setup instructions. Create a 1x1 box in the centre of the table. Set up the 4 respawn points at each corner, ensuring that each point has some cover nearby. Kind of obvious. The respawn points 2, 3, 4 and 5. Right, so start 1 card length from the skirmish edge. Okay, so you can start anywhere within the edge, but respawn is either 2, 3, 4 or 5. The 1 result is roll. 6 result allows the player to select his respawn point. Okay, so you need a d6 for this. I would say that a roll of a 7 or an 8, a roll of 6 or 7 you get to choose, but a roll of 8 puts you in the centre. So if you don't have any d6s or don't want to use any d6s, that's what I'd do. So yeah, you've got that. Next one, defend. This one is basically, you've got 1/2 is where your opponent is, and I'd have that player 1 card length away from an edge, like a 2x2 box, 2 card length by 2 card length box. And then the other player, you've got this big circle, maybe a 2x2 radius blast, as it were. Oh no, I suppose the respawn points would be 1 card length by 1 card length. Yeah, that makes sense. 1 card length by 1 card length for your starting and respawn points and what like that, because I think that's big enough for 5 models and stuff like that. So the second player, you've got around, it kind of is a 2 card length diameter circle. Excuse me. And the first player starts in that point in the corner. The other player starts in that circle, and that's their control location. It's basically King of the Hill, where the second player's just got that big circle to defend. 4 rounds, so it's not that long. And believe me, if you haven't got a big table, it ain't gonna take long. Each round the defender keeps the attacker out of the control zone. The defender receives 1 victory point in the refresh phase. The attacking player receives 2 victory points per merc in the control zone in the refresh phase. So you get points that way. You don't have to even kill defenders. Victory points 1 to the defender for no attacks inside. 1 per attacking merc inside the control location. Well, it says 2. 1 victory point per kill. So you can get control point. You can get victory points that way. So I suppose the attacker technically could get more, but I suppose it depends. So hang on, let's see. Defender got 4 rounds, so that's 4. If we're saying 2 kills a round for the defender, that's 8. So 11 possible. Most would be 11, I reckon. You could get more, but that's about average, I'd say. Attacker 2 per turn if you can do per merc. It does set receives 2 victory points, but in the box it says 1 victory point. I would say 1 victory point for having a per model inside, because you're not going to get that many. But 2 per model is a bit cheeky, I reckon. Especially depends on the faction you use, obviously. So for this one, the defender, EU Wing could be a good one with the tight corporate ability. Texco with the focus fire ability. USCR with the amount of templates they can set off. Keizai Waza would be amazing for this. Right, shoot them in the defending area. Oh, we've got bonuses. Oh, 2 people can aim for us. Oh, we've got the heavy that's good on Overwatch. Yeah, and we've also got a booster, so yeah, we can handle this. I suppose Kenvar might not be a bad idea. Depends on how much cover's in that control location. For the attacker, Texco's not a bad one for attacking. Well, you can't respawn, so yeah, I'd say Texco would be a good attacker. Sadafu would be a good attacker because they're so fast and there's no movement penalties for shooting like semi-auto weapons, so they've got that. I suppose he would not be a bad attacker because they've got the carbines, but I'd say they'd be a good defender. Yes, it's shorter range, so you're going to let your opponent get closer, but when they get closer, they're going to feel it. You want someone for an attacker who's good at mobility, so they can move around, encircle your opponent, sort of thing. Economic is kind of like control, but you need to interact. You need You need 2 interact checks, one per round, to take the location. And remember, with control, it's like 1, 2, 3. So it's like 1 in one half of one player, and then 1 half in no man's hand. Second one, slap bang in the middle. Third one, 1.5 in no man's land, or half in the other player. But in these ones, once you've got them, your opponent can't take them. And it takes 2 turns. Obviously, some models like Spies will allow it where it takes 1 turn less, so it only takes 1 turn to control them. So any team with a Spy will be valuable in this one. It's 6 rounds. 2 victory points per location interacted with, 1 point for a kill. So, and there's no respawning. So the most you can get for location control is 6. So if you get more, you get 6, and no one can take them away. The only way the other player would be able to win is if he wipes your team out. Otherwise, he can bring you to a draw if he kills a few. Actually, you can't even do that. No, you'd win if he doesn't kill you all, because you get 6. With this one, well, I say Spies are good. Anyone that can lower the interact, so interact for 1 turn, like the House 9 Saboteur. The Kaiser as a Spy has got it. I'm fairly sure most Spies have got it. Link in the comments below, but most Spies do have it. I'm fairly sure it has. Espionage. Espionage is basically a mix of all, I think. Kind of, but you've got 2 control locations, so you have to be near them. Like 1 in half of one player, 1 in the half of no man's land, 1 in the other corner, 1 half of the other player, and the other half in no man's land. And then slap bang in the middle, it's oh no, it's different. Oh no, it's the same. Sorry. And then 1 in the middle. You have to actually interact to control it. 5 rounds. So 3 victory points for location interacted, 2 victory points in refresh phase per zone. So zone controlled. Right, okay. So for that middle one, you get 3 victory points. Oh no, you get 3. You get 3 for that middle one. 2 free for each turn for having each one of them 2 in the corner sorted. If I just, yep, hang on, yeah, that's where the camera is. Yeah, like that. Hang on, like that. So 1 that corner, 1 that corner. So yeah. Anyway, and then 1 point for kill. So you could have a Spy for the middle one, but I don't really know for this one. This one's very complicated because you've got a lot to think about. I would possibly have I'd possibly have some, maybe one or two that's fast to go to the control location. Maybe have a heavy to bound each turn until they've reached it, and then go on Overwatch every turn, just spray everywhere, making sure no one's getting too close. A sniper would be good, I reckon. This one is a very good chicken and the egg situation, because who gets there first? That's the thing, because no one's got equal rights over any of them, unfortunately. But you know, that's just the way it is. But that's a very interesting one. Platoon. So no man's land in the middle, one each side, like before. So this one, you've got 10 models aside. So, and there's a little special rule thing here. EIC has 6 models rather than 5 for normal games. In this case, they can activate 7 models a turn rather than 6, because in Platoon you can only activate 6 models a turn because you've got 10. So you still have to think, who am I going to activate and when? House 9 can field all 10 M.E.R.C.S of their M.E.R.C.S and 1 Black Ops member for a total of 11 M.E.R.C.S. However, they can activate only 6. So you've got another body in the field for House 9. So if you're playing House 9, who would I choose? Someone with aim, a heavy, because yeah, you've got the boomer, but you need someone with a bit of template crowd control. Maybe another sniper, because that's not a bad idea. Who else? Someone with the MP grenades to slow the opponent down, perhaps. The Kizo has a demo that's got toxin grenades, because the boomer shoots toxin grenades out of his grenade launcher. You've got them options. The House 4 Sapper, because his shotgun can stun people. Again, you've got that option. Yeah, you've got tons of options there. And I mean, even if you take someone that's not that great but is there just for the numbers, having 11 models will mean your opponent's going to have to think really long and hard. If you're against House 9 with this in effect and you're playing USCR, you won't care. You've got so many templates, you're just not going to care. And plus, you've got harpoons. I mean, you activate the heavy and the behemoth and the sniper each and every opportunity you can. You use the sniper to stop opponents moving as much as possible, and then you use the heavy and the behemoth to spray each turn, and you will hurt plenty. No respawns, and it's just 1 point for a kill. So yeah, that's my understanding. So basically, kill them all. And the last one, political. 2 interact locations, 1 asset, and 2 victory zones. So with this one, you've got 1 player starting one corner, 1 player starting the other corner. This player's start has in this corner their victory location, and the other players that got their victory location here, and then split in the middle. Actually no, the split is right in the centre. Yeah, and there's an interact location where you have to interact it in 2 turns. So 1 interact, and then next turn interact again. And then you've got that one, and then 1 at the bottom. And then an asset location where you have to take it to a victory location. Oh, you get no movement bonus for this. That's interesting. Okay, so you get 4 victory points for capturing the asset location. Sorry, the asset, I would say your opponent can't get that back. I would say that's gone once you've captured it. 2 victory points for location interacted with, and 1 for a kill. So the maximum you can get is 13. But that means you've got all the locations, you've got the asset, and you've killed everyone. Thing is, if you've got both of the locations and the asset, you've won. Your opponent's most you're going to get is 5, but that's going to wipe them out and then they'd win. But they're all in the middle. So again, no one's got claim to anything. I suppose, well then again, I suppose each player can go, one could go for one interact, one player could go for the other interact. Because that'd be easy enough, you've got 2 there, 2 there. But then there's the asset to think about. I mean, if you're feeling greedy, you could try and go for the other one. You could shoot the opponent trying to take it. Nothing. No one says you can't do that. Again, like espionage, it's a difficult one. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I mean, both political and espionage, and that's very intriguing, very different how they could be played, I suppose. Yeah, so espionage and political are probably the hardest ones to do. Some factions will be easier to do. I mean, I suppose Kaiserweiser would have a field day with political, as would Kaiserweiser. I suppose CCC would be good for economic because of their low interact. Well, I say low. It's lower than most other players. Let's have a look. See, engineers are good ones, and monkey wrenches because theirs is pretty low. Leaders because they've got that bonus. Yeah, the Kaiserweiser Spy's got it. Yeah, Kaiserweiser would be good because your opponent's damaging you, so you get to still get the bonus for having that Budo. Let's see, GCC. Yeah, I suppose GCC won't be a bad one. Their interact stat ain't bad over the board. 5s, 4s, a 6 here and there. I think the worst would be the Tribunal and the Heavy because they're 8 and 9. But everyone else, yeah, they don't seem too bad. Yeah, the Agent needs a 7, but is specialist, so only takes 1 round rather than 2. So you've got that. Texaco. So yeah, they're the other special scenarios you can do in M.E.R.C.S 2nd edition. I hope that's helped out a little bit. And so that's it. I'll get on to another video. Goodbye for now.